Hey guys, what's up? It is Jay over at Gorilla Games, and I'm here to teach you about another board game. This time we're going to be talking about Mysterium. So Mysterium is this really cool 2 to 7 player co-op game, and the idea is one player is basically playing as a ghost, and all the other players are playing as a psychic that are trying to help solve this ghost's murder. So the thing is, the ghost can't really verbally communicate with the psychics. All that they can send them are sort of these vague ideas and impressions of things that they're feeling, or images, right? So what the psychics, what their job is they have to figure out the person, the place, and the object that's tied to them. Each of the different psychics is going to have a different person, place, and thing tied to them, and it's up to the ghost to try to help them figure out which of those 3 combinations they have. So for example, right now I'm going to be playing as the red player, and let's say all this information would be hidden behind the GM screen, but let's say the ghost knows that the person, place, and thing tied to the red player is this guy right here, this scene right over here, and then this candlestick, right? So the first turn, I might give them something like, this card with a top hat on it to show them, oh, it's this guy has a really big hat, this picture has a really big hat in it. Hopefully they'll be able to deduce that. I can't tell them why I'm giving them this card. I can't tell them anything about it. They just kind of have to figure it out. So let's say they figure out that that's where they're supposed to be. Now, what other players can do is they can say whether they think that the person is correct or incorrect. These are called intuition markers. Now, the intuition markers are going to help them out later in the game, which we'll get to in a little bit. But let's say the purple player, they guess correctly. They would move up here on the intuition track. So then we'd go to the next phase, right? So then we'd go to the next turn, which would be turn 2. Now, you only have 7 turns to try to figure out the entire mystery, right? And every time that the ghost plays a card, he gets to draw a card. Let's go ahead and draw another card here, and let's try and figure out what I would give somebody. So in this case, if I'm trying to get them to guess this, I might want to play this card right here, right? There's all these flowers, there's this nice floral pattern here, but the thing is, if you look in this picture, there's also a lot of flowers and floral pictures there as well. So what the ghost can do is, the ghost doesn't necessarily have to give them just one card every turn. The ghost can actually give them, as many cards as they want. So this one's kind of reinforcing the idea of the water, and so let's say that they pick that one, right? So in that case, I'd draw 2 more cards, and then we'd go to the next turn, and let's say I give them, this card right here to help them pick the candelabra. So after that, after all the psychics have figured out whatever their person, place, and thing is, they basically take them, and they make what's called a lineup for them. So there'll be different lineups for each of the different psychics, and then finally the ghost is going to lay down a 3 picture hand that's going to reference one of the lineups. And it's basically up to the psychics to try to figure out which of the lineups the ghost is thinking of. And that's where this track comes into play. Basically, the higher up here on the track, the more cards you get to see. So let's say, I'm just going to reuse some of the cards that I already showed you guys. But let's say I play this one, and then I'll use this one too, right? So at the very end of the game, depending upon how high your intuition is, that's how many of these cards you get to view. So if you're not doing so well in the game, you may only get to look at one of the cards, and you have to decide which of the different lineups this card is referencing. Obviously that's really hard, but if you're doing really well, you get to look at all 3 of them. And that's basically the game. I like it a lot because there's a lot of communication between the players. They're all trying to help each other out. Once all the players have all of the cards dealt to them by the ghost, there is a 2-minute timer, so there's also this element of we kind of have to pick very quickly. The burden of the game is really on the ghost, because he is the one who's trying to have to hand people cards. But other than that, I like it a lot. We played it a couple weeks ago. It was a ton of fun. We're going to be playing it again on Tuesday, so you guys should definitely come on by and try it out. Hopefully I'll see you then.